Hello and welcome to another episode of Turtleneck Tabletalk. I'm your host Devin, and this is our other host Austin. And today we are pumped.
Absolutely.
For today's guest.
That's right.
For this season, we have labeled it The Future of Wichita, and our season would not be complete without this guest.
No, absolutely not. I think this might be the most anticipated guest in the short history of our podcast.
Yes.
So I am ecstatic to introduce someone with a master's degree in journalism. I'm excited to have on someone who has been nominated for an Emmy. I am honored to welcome on the recently elected mayor of Wichita, Lily Wu. Thank you for coming on.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me as a guest on your show. I just did not get the memo to wear a turtleneck, though.
You know, that happens with a lot of our guests, unfortunately. Yeah. But I do appreciate the condolence.
Yeah.
So that is
next
more
time.
than we've got. Next time, I would. Yeah. We'll get the turtleneck on, and we'll all three be rocking it. I appreciate that. There we go. Yeah, we gave you your introduction. If you want to introduce yourself a little bit to those who are watching out of Wichita, and they want to know a little bit more about you.
Nationally, and just want to know a little bit more about your background and just kind of, just a little bit about your story.
That's right.
Well, thank you again for the opportunity. I love coming back on any property that includes education. So Wichita State University, WSU Tech. And so, of course, I'm wearing some of my shocker yellow and black.
Yellow.
Thank you very much for, again, this opportunity. And I also love supporting young professionals who are doing good things in our community that want to help share the good news of Wichita. So I'm really grateful to serve as the 103rd mayor for the city of Wichita. There have been 102 mayors before me. Yes.
Good stat.
And so I am just one person on a council of 7. The other 6 individuals, I call them mini mayors because they are mayors for their own districts. They represent the 6 different areas of Wichita. And I'm so grateful to work alongside council members Johnson, Tuttle, Hoheisel, Glasscock, Johnston, and Vice Mayor Ballard. And so the 7 of us worked together as part of the city council, and we were sworn in January of this year. And there have been now 4 months under our belt or so. And I'm just really excited to be able to help lead this community with my fellow council members. A little bit about myself. I'm a longtime Wichitan. I was raised here since I was 8 years old, but I was not born here. So I was born in Antigua, Guatemala.
Okay.
Puedo hablar en español. Entiendo más de que puedo hablar. But I was born and raised there along with my brother.
Failing me right now. So I think I got a couple words in there, but we'll learn that later.
Podemos practicar más en español.
Okay.
Me? Un poco. No mucho practicar para mí.
Next time we'll have to do a little bit more of that, right? We'll keep on practicing.
Necesito. Yeah.
So we came to America. We immigrated here in 1993. My brother Carlos and my parents. And I went through Wichita Public Schools. I didn't speak English when I came to the U.S., so I learned English by going to school, but also by watching television.
Okay.
So I liked watching the TV station with my grandpa. So he watched the local news, followed by Wheel of Fortune.
Oh, there we go. I like that.
So that's what I aspired when I was a young kid. I said I wanted to become like my out-of-classroom teachers. I wanted to become a journalist.
Yeah.
And so I really looked up to the people who were telling me about what was going on in our community. And back in the early 90s, there was a lot more local programming, and they would highlight the good things in community. And so that's how I got to learn about Wichita. And I was just grateful, again, for my out-of-classroom teachers and then my formal teachers through Wichita Public Schools. So I'm really grateful to have graduated from public schools. I graduated from Ray Woodman, Lawrence, Truesdale, Wichita East High School.
Oh, man.
So I'm a true product of WPS. Yeah. So very much Wichita girl. And the reason why I emphasize that is because in middle school, I met a mentor. And I believe that is what changed the trajectory of my life. And that's why I encourage a lot of our adults in our community, or even young adults, to become involved and become mentors, because young people need guidance, not just from their parents and family, but from mentors. And for me, that mentor was a school psychologist who tested me for the gifted program in Truesdale. And then she also took me and 2 other young ladies under her wing, and she started mentoring and really showing us the opportunities in Wichita. And one of those opportunities was an educational opportunity at Wichita East called the International Baccalaureate Program, the IB program. And the 3 of us tested and got into the program. And so I remember being bused from my home to East High. I would have naturally gone to South High School because that's my progression in my neighborhood. But I went to East, and I really believe that truly helped me become the person I am today, because I got not just a Wichita Public School education, but an IB education. And it taught me the importance of being a world citizen and someone who really gives back to community. IB emphasizes service, and that's how I started becoming a volunteer as a freshman in high school. My very first official volunteering was at Exploration Place.
Oh, there we go.
And so it's really neat now being the mayor and helping with celebrations around Exploration Place and seeing the growth and all the plans for the future of Exploration Place and downtown Wichita. And, your podcast is about Wichita and its future. And so it just excites me because I've seen it from the point of view of a young person being a volunteer to now helping lead this community. So again, I say that mentorship is what got me to see the opportunities, and I want more people to see the opportunities in Wichita. I also then graduated from Wichita State University thanks to a Gore Scholarship. Yes, I competed for the Gore Scholarship, and that gave me not only the opportunity to go to college. I'm the first in my family to attend and graduate from college, but it gave me the chance to focus those 4 years on 2 degrees, one in international business and the other in integrated marketing communication. So I graduated from 2 colleges after 4 years. And that is, again, thanks to a scholarship opportunity. So again, there are so many great things in our community that are opportunities. And my parents didn't have the money to send me to college, so I became academically really focused and leadership focused and service oriented. And that helped me get a Gore Scholarship. And so I want people to take those, whether it's a challenge or if they think that it's an obstacle. My parents, that obstacle would have been there was no money for me to go to college, but you can find scholarship opportunities. You can also find what is it that you really want to do in life. And now as mayor, I get to share that as a high school graduate, you should focus on 3 things. Either going to a 4-year university, going to a technical college, WSU Tech, or any of our training programs, or third, after graduating from high school, get into the workforce and get a job. So those are your 3 options, and they should be celebrated equally. And so I want young people to know as they graduate, this is the month of May. Congratulations to the class of 2024, but just know that there are opportunities for you. And those 3 are equally valuable to our community.
There seems like there's a disparity though, because I don't know if my mom would have been as happy if I went to McDonald's over, a 4-year university. So,
well, I think that for especially an 18-year-old, the city of Wichita currently has over 300 openings.
I thought you were going to say McDonald's. I'm like, there's not many McDonald's.
But the city of Wichita has openings, and they, for some positions, 18 years old is the minimum. So that is a reminder that don't just look at one area, look at other areas where there are job opportunities. And I know here in Wichita, some of the manufacturing companies, small or large, look for those 18-year-olds to try to get them into the workforce. And then if they want to continue accelerating into another position or have more education, they will even pay for education later on down the road. So there are opportunities. And I want people to know that every day, I think you have a choice. You can either choose to be a victor or a victim.
Ooh, yeah.
And those are those are the two choices you get to make. And I think that for me, I see challenges as an opportunity, and how can I become a victor of those circumstances instead of a victim of them?
Inspirational.
Nice, yeah.
Absolutely
Already,
inspirational.
yes,
Wow.
yes.
No, that was good. I do think, you know, that the workforce, it is okay to go into it, but you know,
I'm glad you put that out there.
Somewhere,
That disclaimer.
I just wanted to, you know, say, hey, McDonald's is cool too. But no, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities that I keep learning about. And it's really awesome to hear about from Wichita, because we got on Kelly earlier,
Yes.
Kelly Bielefield, and he talked about the Future Ready Centers and how that's equipping them to do exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah,
so,
we were even able to visit one and kind of learn how to forklift.
We're forklift certified now.
Yeah, pretty much. We're like experts.
Did you
pretty
go
much.
to the one by North High School?
Yeah.
Yes, we
That
did.
is awesome.
Yeah.
So see, those are opportunities that even when I was in school, they weren't around.
Right, yeah.
These Future Ready Centers is something that the city of Wichita also helped invest money in. And when I say that, when I talk to folks in our community about public school education, I always say, if there's anyone in this room that has been a Wichitan for more than 30 years, I simply want to say thank you. Because I know there's no such thing as a free public school education. What it means is that people invested in my education, in my public school education, and I'm just grateful that I'm able to now be a product of that investment and that they can see what that looks like. And I was able to realize my full potential in this community because not only the teachers who believed in me, but my mentors that helped support me, and just this whole city really wants to help our young people truly realize their gifts and talents and let them fulfill their mission in life.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to find, a mission in life. It's a whole topic of lifelong journeys. And I would say I'm still finding mine. Do you think you found yours? Do you think you found your mission?
Yeah, I think that this is exactly where I believe God has put me. I'm grateful for this opportunity to serve and to lead. And I think a lot of the things that have happened in my life have helped me, equip me for this time. I have this title called mayor, but that's just a title.
Yeah.
I actually have roles that I play.
Right.
And that's why I thought it would be interesting to share with you.
I was wondering what this
Weird.
laminated
Yeah, what this
paper
is.
was.
So mayor is just the title I
Right.
have, but the roles I play are multiple. So every day or every week, I play the role of being an ambassador who collaborates, connects, or communicates. I also play the role of the presiding officer during a council meeting. I also play the role of being a policymaker. I also play the role of being a spokesperson. I
that
also
a lot,
play
yeah.
the role of being the chief explainer.
Chief explainer. I like that.
I also play the role of being a board member in our community. And last but not least, I believe this role everyone has, and is being a Wichitan.
Spoken like a mayor once
Yes,
again. Well
yes.
done. That's a lot of roles, though. And I think Devin was going to talk about that.
Yeah, so just kind of like what would you say, like, what's a typical week like for you? Because I know it's all over the place. And like, how would you like, how much of it is like meetings and those type of things? And then how much of it would you say is like public appearances? And
It's a little bit of everything. And so, for instance, today, Tuesdays are our city council meetings. Every single Tuesday, 9 a.m., you can always find me. I'm at City Hall. Nice. So that's also a plug to remind people to come out to our city council meetings.
Ooh, yeah.
So this morning, we had our council meeting, and there were a lot of people in the audience. So I always try to encourage folks in our community to get civically engaged. So I have meetings. I had meetings today as well after a council meeting. But then I also get to come out here, right?
Yeah.
We're engaging here, talking and sharing not just the vision for Wichita, but I think what is important about podcasts like these is you get to see the individual. And you get to hear my story, and I want to hear about you guys' stories, but we'll probably have to take that offline.
yeah.
But I love to hear how we all share different types of stories about our lives and try to see the commonalities that we have instead of the differences that we have. Now, the differences make us unique, and that's why I love traveling all across the city, because every community is distinct. The 6 areas of Wichita have distinct cultures, and even within those districts, there are neighborhood associations that are different than the other neighborhood association. And so my typical work day just really varies. At the end of today, I'll be at the Advanced Learning Library with the folks that are called the new documenters, who will be coming to our city council meetings and kind of putting a brief together so community knows what happened at city council if you can't make it. And then I'll end the night at Music Theater of Wichita. They're a great group in our community that not only helps entertain, but also they're part of economic development. Now, this is something that I like to share because today they came to city council, and these young people from the ensemble are from all across the United States. They're not even from Wichita, but they come here for a summer. They obviously perform, they work there, and then family members from their communities come and visit them. That's economic development too, or economic impact. And then they get to share Wichita's story, whether they go back to their universities or at some point, some of these folks will get to go on Broadway and perform there, and they'll talk about their experience in Wichita. And so I just hope that people go and, learn that there are opportunities to be entertained in our community, like Music Theater of Wichita, but also go support them. Mm-hmm. So that's what my typical day kind of looks like in terms of helping do the meeting parts, which are more of the planning, right, and then doing the more outwardly things, which is attending events and sharing to community.
That seems like the fun stuff, right?
Yes, okay. They are fun.
Yeah. I would probably rather do that than all the meetings
and everything. Yeah.
We should go to a meeting though.
We really should.
Yes, it's an open invitation, and I really hope you guys will join us. Our next city council meeting is actually going to be a nighttime meeting. So next week on Tuesday, we'll have what we call a workshop. Yeah. But that one's in the morning time. Okay. The next one, though, like official full-on meeting, is Tuesday, June 4th, and it's at 6 p.m.
Putting it in the calendar right now, on document, on podcast, June 4th at 6 p.m.
That's right. And that's something that we started this year. We wanted to have 4 nighttime meetings so that folks that can't make it during the 9 a.m. time have an evening opportunity. So I hope I get to see both of you on June 4th and anyone who's watching.
Yes.
Nighttime council with Mayor Lilly on June 4th. There you go. Saved up. Nice. Can't make any promises. I think that's rugby practice time, but
we can. We'll figure something out. We'll figure something out.
Absolutely, because people got to be civically engaged.
Exactly.
They need to be.
And that's what I hope that it does, right? Yeah. We're wanting to meet people where they're at as well. So if you can't make it to city council meetings, get involved by first learning who your city council member is. So like I mentioned earlier, we have 6 areas of Wichita. Put your address on the website. We have a link. You can find out who your city council member is. Yeah. And that person has what they call a district advisory board meeting. So every month they have this thing called a DAB, and you can attend. And they specifically just talk about that district. Okay. If you want to get even more, focused, right, or more to know about your own neighborhood, there are neighborhood associations. So get involved with one of those instead if you want to get really hyper local. But just get involved. I think that's the thing that people have asked me. So how do I get involved? It can be as simple as starting with your own neighborhood association or even your own block. Like find out what are some of the concerns folks in your own little cul-de-sac or your apartment complex care about. One of my missions when I was running was building a united community. And I believe it starts by learning who your neighbors are. Yeah. And I believe every Wichitan to me is a neighbor. And so it's important to start, though, in your own homes. So find out who the person to your left and to your right are and get to know them by first name. So you know that John and Sally live next to you. And so when something happens, or like it doesn't even have to be something happens, but if you go out of town, You can say, hey, John, hey, Sally, I'm leaving out of town. Can you just keep a watchful eye over my apartment or my home?
Yeah.
And that's how you build community. I want to empower more people to know that that's where solutions really come to fruition. They're in the neighborhoods, and it's closest to you.
Yeah, this sounds like a Coca-Cola commercial, and I'm loving it. This is great. No, absolutely, because, you know, sometimes, like, I grew up in a small town of Hillsboro, and that's exactly what happens. You know, I know probably everyone on the block and maybe a few more blocks past that, and probably the whole town, if we're being honest, because there's only like 2,000 people there. So, yeah, that is where, you know, growth and connection starts, is with connecting with each other. Man. Now I'm speaking like a mayor, too.
I know.
This is great.
Insightful.
I think it's rubbing off.
You're speaking like a Wichitan.
Wichita.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. I'm a Wichitan now. Sorry, Hillsboro. Anyway, yeah. No, that is good, because I think a lot of young people aren't connected, and they aren't like, they maybe don't want to vote. They even saw like all the like 30 million Lily Wu signs, and they're like, I still don't want to vote because that's too much effort to do that. So what do you say to those people? What are those people doing?
You know, during the campaign, it made me sad just how low voter turnout typically is.
Right.
Especially for the non-presidential years. So as you know, last year was 2023. It's an off year. It's going to be interesting
this year. Yeah.
I'm sure many more people will be out voting this year, but it's important to always vote. I think it's important to research the individual that you're going to cast a ballot for. I think it's important also to educate yourself, not just by going on social media, but really getting to know these individuals. Many of the folks who are out this year who are campaigning, they're out at many of these events. Connect with them. Ask them some questions. Tell them maybe some of the things that you think the individual should prioritize. But just engage. And I know that especially on our council members care about this community. We love Wichita and we want what's best for Wichita. Maybe sometimes our tactics are a little bit different, but at the end of the day is to help Wichita. And if more folks would know that elected individuals or those who are running for office simply want to serve, many of them simply just want to serve our community. And the thing that you could do is go help vote, get informed, and then go vote. Because that matters. It does matter. And I want more young people, or all people really, who are eligible voters to go and cast a ballot and do it regularly, right? Meaning every year, think about it. In November, there's always going to be an election of some sort. In August, here in Wichita, there's always some sort of election. So August and November should put it in your mental calendar that those are the 2 months that you at some point will get the opportunity to vote. And it really is an opportunity. You know, upcoming weekend will be Memorial Day weekend. And I just remind myself of the individuals who obviously paid the ultimate sacrifice so that we have this opportunity to live out the American dream and to live out our responsibilities of what it means to be an American, because they lived it and they paid. And now it's our time also to say thank you by making sure that we are grateful for those responsibilities that we get to have and this privilege of getting the opportunity to vote, because you don't get to have that everywhere in the world. But you do here in America as an American citizen, and exercising that right to vote and being educated before you go to the poll is very important.
That is important.
Yes, for sure.
I maybe don't do that all the time, but no, I'm kidding.
But now you will.
Now I will.
Yeah.
I absolutely will. I feel inspired and educated to do this. So that's what this podcast is about.
Exactly.
What months are you supposed to vote?
November.
And August.
Good job.
In
there we
August.
go.
In August. Yeah.
Teamwork. It's teamwork.
Nice. There we go. Let's go. Absolutely.
So what was the process like for running for mayor, and what made you decide that you wanted to take on this challenge? Because there's so much that goes into it that like a lot of people don't realize. So if you could just kind of tell us like what was your process like for deciding I'm going to go and I want to become mayor?
So there were a couple of things. One of them is I've been a Wichitan now for 31 years, And I love this community. And I know that this community deserves someone that cares and wants to help lead Wichita forward together. And city council members and mayors are nonpartisan, meaning when you go out to vote, if you remember from your ballot last year, it was just a list of names, nothing next to those individuals' names. And so in Wichita, you really are voting for an individual, and you're voting for the character of that individual. And so I wanted to remind community, what is it that local government really should be focusing on? And I said, we need to focus on public safety. We need to focus on growing this economy. We need to focus on helping explain and understand how city government really works. The way you understand it will help you trust city government and what they do, what we do. And then lastly, the whole building a united community. So I had started seeing a lot of division in our community that was not representative of Wichita. And so building a united community was a reminder to all community members. This is a nonpartisan race, and it's for you to go to the polls being informed of who the individuals are, not from a social media post, not from a meme, but actually doing your real research. And so I was really motivated by helping this community, but also seeing the division that had been created that I didn't like. I didn't think that represented Wichita. And so that dissatisfaction also was what I had heard from community. And so as a reporter, I literally traveled all over the city, hearing what the concerns of community were. And the top two things that kept coming to the forefront were public safety and economy. And public safety does deal with police, fire, infrastructure, but more specifically last year, we had over 100 police vacancies. We had seen not enough people wanting to become a police officer, and it was a nationwide problem, but I wanted to help with recruitment and retention. So I wanted to help the police chief with that, which is helping people understand that law enforcement officers in our community are your neighbors. Just last week, I got to see two groups of police officers who graduated or got promoted.
Oh, nice.
And the people who pinned their badge were family members. There were daughters, there were sons, there were fathers, mothers, husbands, wives. And that reminded me, again, we are neighbors, and law enforcement officers, firefighters, public works employees, they're your neighbors. And they want to help this community. And the role of local government is those specific things, police, fire, infrastructure, and that deals with public safety. And then that second thing that I kept hearing from community was grow this economy. Help us retain the jobs that we have, but also help us get more, because we need more opportunities in Wichita, and we need to attract non-Wichitans to decide to come to Wichita. So one of my major roles is being an ambassador, not just internally for Wichitans to see all the things that are great about our community and the opportunities, but also to share that with the outside world, the outside city limits of Wichita, whether it's in our region, whether it's in our state, whether it's in our country, or even international. Wichita is open for business. We would love the opportunities to come to Wichitans. And if you are not a Wichitan, you need to become one.
Amen.
Come and visit us.
Amen. That's right. What would be the coolest business that you could bring to Wichita? I was just thinking about that. What would you make a vote for now to come into Wichita?
Well, you can't vote for it, but you can try to encourage others to think about Wichita.
Vote in a metaphorical sense.
So we need to diversify our economy, right? We need to diversify the different jobs that we have. I would say that right now a great opportunity is just a few weeks ago, we broke the ground for the new biomedical center.
Oh, that's right.
That is a collaboration between WSU, KU, and WSU Tech. And I would say that if I could ask for any industries to think about Wichita, I would say, hey, pharmaceutical companies, hey, medical companies, just anything in healthcare, take a look at Wichita. Think about moving your headquarters to our community. Think about making an investment here in Wichita, because we have a great workforce. And I'm glad that we're here at WSU Tech's building, because these are where the workforce and educated individuals come from, and they will feed into that pipeline. So we're open for business, and if anyone wants to relocate, yes, please take a look at Wichita.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking along the lines of like maybe an In-N-Out for those Californians or something like that. But that's probably a better answer. Yeah, that's a better answer. I don't know. I think my mind's just always on food or something like that.
I do like food.
We have Freddy's though, so honestly,
Yeah, like,
we didn't.
we can't top that. Yeah,
No, we don't need that.
What's your favorite restaurant here in Wichita?
I've been a fan of some of the. It's a tough question. Some of the authentic Mexican cuisine, and Fagone. Fagone is good. I really like that. I was actually gonna ask you the same question if you're like allowed to answer it as a mayor, but honestly, like, Freddy's has a special place in my heart when the grease is dripping down my elbows, and like right after I finish, my stomach just feels terrible. There's nothing like it. Honestly, it is honestly one of my favorite restaurants. So that's probably my answer. What's
I think I would go with Meddy's.
Meddy's is good.
Really enjoy Meddy's. I like randomly ate there once for a commercial, and they like gave us all the different foods, and they got to try everything, and I was like, I love it.
Sold.
So I go there probably like once a week, honestly.
Yeah. Dang. Okay.
Yeah.
I have lots of favorites, honestly.
Oh, yeah,
See?
okay. You can't
because
pick one.
It depends on the cuisine, right?
Yeah.
So I think that here in Wichita, you can have any type of cuisine you'd like, and there is an opportunity for you to have that food. And so that's why I love sharing with people that Wichita Asian Festival, I'm going to do a shameless little plug here.
Yes. I wanted to go.
I've been involved with the Wichita Asian Association since I was 18 years old.
Nice.
And they're the ones who organize the annual Wichita Asian Festival. And we have been around as an organization since 1981, completely run by volunteers, not a single paid staff. And what we do is put on this festival to help communities see the beauty of the Asian cultures, and it's very diverse. We have anything from Lebanese to Korean to Filipino to Indian food to Chinese food. It's very diverse, and the Asian Festival allows you the opportunity to see cultural performances and have these cultural cuisines that you get to try during the Asian Festival. So I will plug that it is on Saturday, October 12th.
Oh, there's another one. Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
We
coming up.
just missed the
The
last
Asian
one.
Night Market. That's another great one. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So be on the lookout, October 12th at Century 2.
There we go. Well, you did dodge the question entirely, and you did not say your favorite restaurant, so I'm not going to let you get away with that.
Sure. Well, I'll tell you what I
Is
really love.
Is it on the laminated sheet right there?
No.
No? Okay.
I'll tell you what I love. I love small businesses, and I think that everyone should go and not just support small businesses, but even franchise. They employ local individuals.
Absolutely.
So I don't think that it's an us versus them situation. But I do have a favorite because I grew up in Southwest Wichita by Truesdale. And there's a restaurant that has cuisines that I like, El Salvadorian food.
Oh,
so I was born in Guatemala,
Yeah.
Central America. They're kind of like a neighbor. So Usuluteco is my favorite to go to when I'm down in Southwest Wichita. And it's El Salvadorian food. And it's a small mom and pop shop. And I really do believe that that's where it's important to go and patronize and help these small businesses thrive. Because I love seeing that we have different types of cuisines all around Wichita, but the only way that they can survive is if you go and patronize these businesses, and it includes those franchise too. You mentioned a couple of franchises as we were talking, but
giving them too much spotlight, to be honest.
But I think it's reminding ourselves that even if someone is a small business owner, there might be franchises that have local ties and they do employ Wichitans. And so supporting any of those help our economy. And that's how we can continue growing and having more things to bring to Wichita.
There we go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Way to tie it back in.
Yeah.
Nice.
So continuing to talk about favorites. What is your favorite thing about Wichita?
So my favorite thing about Wichita is truly the diversity of people in Wichita. Our people are amazing. I know that we have great neighbors. Can we do better? Absolutely. We can all be better neighbors. But what makes Wichita special are its people. And those are my favorite. I know that there are a lot of helpers in our community. I know that there are a lot of problem solvers in our community. I know that there are lots of entrepreneurs in our community. And I really believe that if everyone does their own little part in their world, in their neighborhood, that you can see the synergy that everyone can have as Wichitans. We can all thrive and we can all get better together. My motto when I was running was all for Wichita. And I believe that truly, if we want to go far, and I think one of my friends, Christina Lalong, said this week, over the weekend, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so, because when you're doing a marathon or when you're running, it's really nice when you have a partner, or working out.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have a partner because you will push yourself and you can feel like you're not in it alone. And one of the things I want to help share with our community is that we can get better together, all of us. And it's the little things, from going to a 5K and not running it, not even jogging it, but walking it. Walking helps improve your health physically, but also mentally. And you can get better as an individual. I'm not a runner myself, but over the weekend I did a 5K.
I was about to say, I thought you did a 5K kind of recently. Yeah.
I don't consider myself a runner. I'm a jogger. I do
Okay,
jog,
there
and
we
then
go.
I walk a little. I admire those who are runners. But I think that that's part of what I've learned through the process is that you have two things that you control. I mentioned that every day you get to choose being a victor or a victim, but I also think that every day you get to choose your attitude and your effort. And so, although I might not be a runner, my attitude is I can do it, but I might do it a little bit different than the runner. I might not jog it, I might walk it, and that's okay. And then the attitude that you have and the effort that you provide, so you can give it your all, which I did in that 5K. I felt like I did finish, and it's the effort I put into it, right? So everything, you can relay it back to those things, effort and attitude.
Absolutely.
So yeah, my favorite thing are people, and I love being around people, and I love Wichitans.
Yeah. I love that you said that. That's what my wrestling coach told us every day for practice. You know, we had it posted up everywhere. And it's really great, like, because those are the only things you can control. And so I think that's a great message. I also think that's something that we can incorporate talking about the future of Wichita. So what's going on in there? We got the biomedical campus. We talked about industries coming in possibly. What are you maybe most excited about for the future of Wichita?
Well, I'm excited,
It's a big question.
obviously, about biomed. I really do believe that that's going to be transformational for Wichita and especially the downtown core of Wichita. I think that that's where I hear a lot of young professionals tell me, we want more things to do. And I really appreciate the nonprofit Exploration Place, who's trying to not just build an amphitheater, but also a park next to Exploration Place. And so those are also things that will be in good synergy with one another. We obviously have the baseball team. We have other things that are going on around the downtown core that will help ignite even more things to happen all across community. I like what's happening up in the north end with the Nomar area and what the nonprofit Empower is doing to help entrepreneurs, but also help revitalize that area of 21st and Broadway. I appreciate really just any development that's happening around our community. I believe when people see construction projects, remind yourself that's an investment into Wichita. People are investing in Wichita. So that's what
Don't get mad that you're slow down.
that does excite me. But I think that I know that there's one sphere that I get to help influence, and I'm part of local government right now, right? And if we can get to helping with public safety more, safety and crime. Those, if we can curb down the numbers on crime, if we can see a reduction of just any of these offenses that are happening in community that hurt others, I believe that may not be what you were asking for, but that is what local government's supposed to work towards. We're supposed to be the ones that take a lead on helping with public safety, police, fire, infrastructure. We're making 2 major investments as a city of Wichita on our water treatment plant and our sewer system, what we call the bionutrient removal plant down in South Wichita. And so those are things that local government works on. And yes, we work on economic development, but that's in collaboration with those who are actually in private industry or in public, for instance, nonprofits. So we want to be good collaborators, and we want to make sure that they know that in Wichita, we do want to focus on more opportunities, and those include more jobs and more housing opportunities for people too.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. Nice. Ooh, hey, our producer's saying we have 5 minutes. That means we need
so we gotta get the hard-hitting question.
Yeah, so we like to, do hard-hitting questions as well in this podcast.
Yes.
But we don't say them. We get other people to say them.
Rushmore.
Oh, that one. Let's do that one first. But there's so many questions we still have. You can go for it.
Okay, so what we like to do is we like to ask our guests, what would be their Mount Rushmore for inspiration?
Top 4 people.
Top 4 people.
Top 4 people.
Yes, that has made an impact in your life in whatever way.
Absolutely. First would be my mother. I'm so grateful to my mom. She's a hairstylist here in our community, and I know that she has the servant heart, and so she is number 1. The second would be the mentor I mentioned, Stephanie Sorensen, retired public school worker, school psychologist, just all around wonderful human being that helped these 3 young ladies and many more students across our community. I would put Stephanie up there. The third one I would put there would be, since we're here at WSU and WSU Tech, Dr. Sherry Utash. Okay. She is doing so many great things for our community, not only herself, but her team and her family. They do so much here to help elevate Wichita that I want to give her the kudos that she deserves. Dr. Utash is doing a fantastic job doing that. And the 4th person I would put there, now that's really hard because I have lots more names that I want to add on there. Oh my goodness. The 4th person I would put there would have to be, that's hard. Can I not choose an individual?
What do you mean by that?
Can I put the Wichita flag?
No.
You want an individual.
No.
Okay,
No.
a 4th individual.
It is a cool flag.
Yeah, shout out to the flag. Yes.
Very cool flag.
Okay. Okay, well then I'll put the keeper of the plains.
Oh, nice.
There we go.
Well done.
Thank you to Black Bear Bosun. Just over the weekend, we celebrated 50th anniversary of the dedication of the Keeper of the Plains. And I believe that what the Keeper represents is not just watching over Wichita, so in a way, a leader for Wichita, a guardian for Wichita, but a unifier of Wichita. Unity is what I would consider the Keeper. The Keeper sits between the convergence of the Little and the big Arkansas River. And I think that it's a reminder that we can all be bridge builders and unifiers, and that leader is sharing with us to be that. And that the Keeper of the Plains has 2 bridges that connect to it, and it is a bridge. And so I would say that reminding ourselves where we come from, right? The Keeper is where we come from. The legacy and the history behind the Native American individuals who were here on this land before any of us were, paying tribute to that history, but also paying tribute to artisans like Black Bear Bosun, who created the Keeper of the Plains. I think those are all things that represent are reminders for me to keep being a leader, keep being a unifier, a bridge builder, and someone watchful over our city.
Yeah, well done. Well done to spin that one again. No. Wichitans. Great. No, it is a great answer, though. It's a very cool statue as well. But, one of our last questions, we're going to ask this from the perspective of what do you say to people who say? In this case, what do you say to people who say Lily Wu hangs out with country clubbers and only hangs out around Nepo babies too? That wasn't me. That was someone who said that. But what do you say to those people?
I think you see me all over this community.
Yeah.
And I take on any opportunities that come my way when people ask for a council member or a mayor to be present. Mm-hmm. I will say yes to a lot of things. But I'm also only one human.
Yeah.
And I can only be at one place at one time. But I share a lot on social media, all the places I've been, because number one, I want people to see that there are good people in our community. There are opportunities in our community. And yes, there are challenges in our community. But in order to work on challenges, you need to bring people to the table first and see each other as neighbors, as Wichitans, as part of the same team. And so when we can do that, come together, we can start solving many of these big challenges. And I hang around all types of people, of all different backgrounds. And that's what I love about Wichita. Like I said earlier, it's about the diversity of Wichita. And it's a diversity of thought. It's a diversity of experiences. And it's just, that's what's beautiful about Wichita. And so I would say to anyone that has not gotten to know me, just come hang out with me at any of these community events and let's be problem solvers.
Yeah.
Let's all try to help make Wichita a better place. Right now we're in the middle of a budget process, and there are multiple priorities that people want us to focus on. But a community survey showed us that the top 3 things that the community as a whole really wants the efforts to be focused on are crime prevention, street repair, and economic development. And I'll add a 4th, because we've also heard this from community, is homelessness. Mm-hmm. So these are the 4 things that I will be focusing on. And when I'm in spaces, if you'd like to talk about how we can get to solutions, I'm all for it.
June 4th. The council meeting.
That's right.
PM.
So Tuesday, June 4th, 6 p.m. will be our next council meeting. And you're invited to come to City Hall at any time.
Thank you for inviting us.
Yeah. And I guess kind of a follow-up with that is, and I guess this kind of goes, how do you navigate dealing with some of those negative pre-assumptions that you have, and when you have to make decisions, when you see the full picture, and a lot of people who make those comments or say different things along the lines of that only see part of it, but you, being one of the top officials, gets to see the full story. So how do you kind of process that, deal with that, navigate that?
So I try to lean on other individuals. I'm not the expert in everything. Mm-hmm. And I have 6 other experts that I get to be on a council with. Those experts are the experts for their districts. So I'm grateful again to work with those council members, and they give me perspective of sometimes it might be noise or misconceptions or misinformation that because they don't know me or they don't know the role that I play. The mayor only has so many
hats.
Not
roles.
Even hats.
Goals.
There are only so many things that I, as a mayor, can do.
Yeah.
Because I'm a vote, just 1 vote out of 7. And I think people don't know that about local government in Wichita. It might be different in other cities because every city is a little bit different. But in Wichita, we have a council of 7 people, and my vote is just 1 single person's vote. My vote is not greater than, and it does not have veto power. So I'm just 1 vote. In order for anything to move forward in a city council, it requires 4 votes. So a majority, 4 out of 7. So really, that is what I would say when I hear from individuals that think that I have this ultimate power. I don't have that ultimate power, nor do I want that ultimate power, because I think that that is what democracy is here in Wichita. You have 4 individuals that vote publicly. They talk about it during council meeting, and we make a vote. We press yay, nay, or abstain, and you get to see where our votes lie. And I think that that is where, again, I'm going to rely on other council members to tell me what their specific district is concerned about. And then we're going to have to come together, because when you only have a limited budget and our 4 priorities are crime, streets, economic development, and homelessness, all the other parts of what city government also gets to take care of will have to be prioritized differently, because these are the top 4 priorities. Community has said, based off of data, that they want us to focus on. So I'm going to stay focused on these 4 things.
Perfect.
Great answer. Yeah, thank you so much for that. Appreciate that. And thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. And one of the last things would be, what advice would you have for somebody who is younger and wants to get more active into politics and just everything? What advice would you have for them?
First and foremost, I hope that they're already tuning in to what local government is doing at city council meetings. So city council has our meetings again on Tuesdays at 9 a.m., but Sedgwick County Commission has their meetings on Wednesdays at 9 a.m., and we're different. And so for someone that wants to start getting into politics, first, get to know your own community. Get to know, I know these are not just Wichitans who are watching, but get to know your city, your county, then your state legislators, and then federal government. Because sometimes I get questions that are really geared towards many of our federal officials or a state legislator. I have no jurisdiction over those things. And getting to know what local government does is the first thing that I would encourage anyone who's interested in politics to first know about. And then after that, I would say connect with the folks who are already in those positions that you're most interested in, and get a meeting with them and get to see what their day-to-day looks like, what their visions are. And so first, get to know how local government works, and then second, go find and connect with one of these local leaders if that's what you're interested in.
There you go.
Yeah.
If you want to do it, there it is. So, yeah, I think this is going to wrap up the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on.
Absolutely.
So grateful that you could be here.
Appreciate you coming out and everything, and just sharing your journey and just how we can get more involved in everything. And one of the things that you talked a lot about was just kind of the community aspect. And I have just a super quick story, but it goes to kind of show that I've been able to experience this even with, not even within myself, but just through others. Is I had a client and I told them that, I think I'm going to be interviewing Lily for a podcast sometime soon. And my client actually saw you this past weekend at a restaurant, and you were there with a group of people, and he waved to you. And before you left the restaurant, before you were gone, you stopped by his table, you introduced yourself, you talked to him, and was just like, if you ever have any issues or anything like that, feel free to try to reach out to me and everything. And so that was just really amazing, because like I said, you talk the talk and you walk the walk. And it was just really cool to kind of see that from a completely non-biased opinion of you just randomly, while you're at lunch or at dinner with friends, and going and doing that. So it says a lot about your character. So
thank you, Devin. And I've known Devin since my college days. You didn't even share that part about us.
Yeah, she was my advisor for students in free enterprise, and was just always a go-getter and always an inspiration even back then. So
likewise to the two of you. Thank you again for having this podcast and an opportunity to get to know individuals in Wichita or the surrounding area. I really believe that we should be sharing our stories more, and that helps us connect and understand one another more, and then we can see how we can best collaborate.
There we go.
Yes.
very great message to end it off with. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and that like button and to share this podcast with all your friends. And we'll be back with another amazing episode.